Trump just did a brand new podcast on the PBD Podcast, and it gets pretty crazy. He exposes people. He exposes the fake news media. He does it all. He talks a lot of crap, and that's what we like to do here. So hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe to this channel, and subscribe to my personal channel, linked in the description, and we will get into it.
From 72 to 2024, it officially hit the lowest in the history. We're talking ever. Not one of the lowest. This is the lowest ever in the history of America. Americans don't trust mass media anymore. And even recently, I don't know if you saw the numbers that came out 2 weeks ago. I'm sure you follow some of this stuff. Every one of the guys at CNN, MSNBC, they're all getting a lower salary when they're renewing their contract.
Right,
they're not getting paid the kind of money that we're making.
Yeah.
And by the way, you may not like me saying this to you, but I think I kind of want to see your reaction to this. I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, he has XYZ amount of felonies charged, 91, 53 were dismissed, 32 is this, and 12 are the ones that are remaining. I think the only one that Letitia James, Jack Smith, and maybe even Fannie, if they wanted to, claim that you did commit a crime, is you kind of did kill mainstream media, if you think about it.
I did.
And that could be a crime for those guys.
I'm very proud of it.
And I want to show you this clip because this is the first time ever the phrase fake news was ever used. And from this moment on is when
I love that Trump said he's very proud of that. It's amazing.
The decline started. Rob, if you can go on and play this clip.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us
is
a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No,
give
I'm not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not
Go ahead.
appropriate.
So if you can
But
pause it
isn't
there.
that disgusting? Think of it. And that would never happen to a Democrat. But isn't that disgusting? He's a lowlife, the guy, and as you know. And he has his own show. He gets no ratings at all. Nobody on CNN gets ratings. But isn't that a disgusting? I'm just watching that, and isn't it a shame that people can behave that way against the president? And I think I think I'm responsible for those numbers up there where they went down. And frankly, I'm proud of it because I also am responsible for the term fake news. And that's a great term, but it's not strong enough. I think it's corrupt news is a better term, but it doesn't play as well. But they're corrupt people and disgusting people. But he is... He wasn't as bad as some. I mean, in a certain way, he was louder, but he wasn't as smart as some. I mean, some are much smarter. He's not a smart one.
Did you think you were going to say fake news, or was it just kind of came out and then it stuck? You're like, this is going to stick. Was it intentional?
I don't know if that's the first time I've used it, but I do get credit for having been an originator of the term. I mean, a lot of times I have a very fertile mind. I come up with very good names for people.
You're very creative.
Pocahontas,
Yes.
Lots of good names. But, I don't know if that's the first time, but I thought of that term often. And more so as I was running. I actually used to get great press when I was an entrepreneur. I would get very glamorous press, very beautiful press.
Mm-hmm.
I went the exact opposite. And I was amazed. And I really learned how corrupt it was. I didn't think of it as that corrupt because, I'd do something and they give me credit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I had a very different life, actually, when you think about it. But then I run for president. So 92% of the people that run for presidents, 92% were politicians and 8% were generals. So I wasn't a politician. I wasn't a general. So I was the only one that wasn't in that group. No, there were no admirals. They were all either politicians or they were sort of an interesting point. Most people don't know that. Some people said that's interesting.
That
Other
makes
people
sense
say
because
that's...
even Reagan would be a politician because he was a two-term governor.
Well, he was a politician.
Right, he was a politician.
He was a governor. There were some that were businessmen, but they then ran for the Senate or they were in Congress, and they went from there to the presidency. But nobody ever went right to the presidency. I never ran for office. All of a sudden, I'm president. And I really learned about the press early in the hard way because I went from one extreme to the other. I got great press. And then all of a sudden, I was treated like by a moron like that. And I really, I fought them very hard. They're very dishonest. They're very corrupt. Not all of them, but a big percentage of them. I would say in the 80s, that's a lot. That's a lot. Big percentage. They're very corrupt. Very corrupt.
Have they always been? Is it always been the case? You've been around media, TV.
I don't
your
think it's
entire
ever
life.
been like this. Yeah, I've been around it for a long time. I don't think it's ever been like
When
this.
do you think it
when
flipped?
I started off, Patrick, I used to have a story written about me. And without fail, somebody would call after the story was written but not published. And they were called fact checkers. Hello, sir. We're calling about a story that we wrote about you. Is it true that you own this? And is it true that you did this? And that you spent X
Yeah, the so-called fact checkers, okay, aka speech suppressors.
dollars? Could we check that number? Blah, blah, blah. And it would go on for a while to a point where you'd get somebody else to just do it. But they, without fail, I'd have, if there were any details in a story, not always, but if there were any details, always, and they would call fact checkers. Hello, sir. My name's Jim Smith. I'm a fact checker for the New York Times. And they'd check the facts of a story. And I think they at least were trying to be real. I haven't had a fact checker call me in 30 years. You know, they don't call anymore.
Do
They
you
used
think
to
that's
call all
because of the
time.
Fairness Doctrine Act of 1987? Because prior to that, the media platforms had to actually give both sides of the story. And then once that was dropped, they lost the accountability. They could say whatever they want to say. And it was kind of free-for-all. Let me go after them. But for you, when you became a president, you know, if someone's running for office, you have to sit there and think about issues. Here's what I'm running on. Wall, border, you know, economy, XYZ. Great. Obama, I'm going to go after healthcare.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter, I'm going to go human rights. You pick and choose what you're running for. But there's also an element of who are going to be my allies, who are going to be my enemies. Did you sit there and say, the enemy of the people is media, I'm going to go after them? Or did you say, no, this happened accidentally? Was this intentional or was it accidental?
I think it's just long-term happened. It morphed into it. I
Got
don't
it.
think they said.
I'm talking
I can
specifically
tell
for you, though.
Yeah. For me, look, I'm the worst case because there's nobody been abused like I have. And I don't think, although I guess probably some, but for a shorter period of time. There's nobody for over such a
Who
long.
would you put? You even thought about it. Who do you think? For sure.
I'd have
Who
to
would-
think short term. People have been abused. Yeah,
Worse
over
than-
one deal and they're gone.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
I got it. Got
But
it.
I've been doing this for a long
Right.
time, and I abuse them also. So I do
But
that.
did you target them and say, I'm going to go attack media and I'm going to go after them? Is that part of strategy that you had? Or no, that was just,
No.
if you come after me, I'm going to come after you?
I think it's a natural instinct with me. Like it would be for
Right.
you and other
Right.
people that know how to win a little bit.
Sure.
No, but I really saw it in politics. I would tell them something, and they would write the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "What's that all about?"
Yeah, I mean, he's calling it out. These people, the fake news media, they will just lie straight to the American people's faces. And unfortunately, half of America falls for their crap. So it's sad. Let me know what you guys think. If you're still watching, put MAGA in the comments, and we will talk to you soon. Me. Thanks for watching Bring the Asteroid. Bye.